Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Home sweet Homestead. Once the finals for NASCAR, now the season opener for the spectacle that is the championship ahead of us here tonight. Live from Homestead, Florida, it's the BiS IndyCar Championship live here on Podium. I'm your host, Mike Noss, and joining me in the booth tonight is going to be Daniel Zippy Salmon. Behind the scenes is going to be our director, Christian Hill. 1.5 miles ahead of us here tonight on paper, but we don't drive on paper. Daniel, why don't you tell us a little bit more about this circuit that is tonight?
Well, it's an interesting one for BiS. It's their first time taking on the oval, and I got to be honest, I did a couple of practice laps, and in theory, you know what, it's a pretty basic circuit. You know, a couple of corners, 2 or 4, depends on how you interpret it. I'm thinking they're probably going to go with 4. Not the longest of circuits, but definitely a first hit for BiS and the IndyCar. Now, this series, it's going to be a mixed deal. We're going to have some of the oval stuff. We're going to have some of the road courses as well. And there is also going to be full course yellows as we have this fantastic schedule lined up. As you can see here, we're starting with 120 laps at Homestead, going onto a road course at Long Beach. One of our favorites here at BiS. We've got Motorsport then with Indy 500 as well. We're going to be having our own. And, you know, as you can see there, absolutely fantastic schedule. It looks like about 8 rounds roughly with a couple of bonus points, bonus events thrown in. NC is non-championship round as well, so they're more of the fun events as well. So lots to look forward to here on Podium.
Absolutely. These cars are an absolute handful. And as we have this schedule, it is looking really strong. In terms of the points format here, moving forward tonight, when we take a look at it, it will be first position will be taking home 65 points, 4 points diminished there into second for 61, 57 for third, 53 for fourth, and so on and so for that. And on to, of course, the fastest lap. There will be 1 point for fastest lap given as well, and that will be 1 per race, plus the lead lap. And head charger as well. Most positions gained. Actually, I just caught that. My apologies. That's a very spicy one that you don't see in too many championships here at Podium. We are going to be doing that for the BiS IndyCar Championship. And as I said, Daniel, these cars are absolute monsters. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about these cars?
Well, there is definitely a lot going on about them, and the more I have a look, you know, I like to say that I'm a bit of a road guy. I like to say that I do that better. Realistically, I do it mediocre at best, but the IndyCar is not something I've had really much time into, but quite a lot of power. That thing's rocking about 700 horsepower from a 2.2 liter V6 with a turbo. You don't get that in a minivan generally, at least not a stock one. Certainly, to actually put it in context, a Dodge Caravan I think's about 300 horsepower, so you got about 2.25-ish Dodge Caravans in there. Not endorsed by Dodge in any way, and I'm sure if somebody stuffs a Hellcat in one, you know, maybe they can have an IndyCar spec van. But 300 foot-pound of torque, so not really too much grunt off the line, but obviously this thing doesn't really weigh very much. either. They also have, more for the road courses, a push to pass. Not something we have in this, but it's going to be fun. I'm predicting a little bit of chaos, honestly, Mike. BIS events tend to be quite lively. There tends to be quite a little bit of not intentional contact, but things do happen, and the guys are very competitive as well. Where it's again the first time where some of these guys have done oval, I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces. I'm also seeing a lot of new faces as well. So to those guys, thank you for coming back, and to the new ones, welcome to the show. And yeah, we're gonna be in the prime seating location for a lot of really fun, somewhat clean racing.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think we might see a full course yellow or two out tonight. Maybe a couple pace cars with that, obviously. And it's going to be a bit of bumping, a bit of banging, wheels out here tonight. And the action, well, let's just say I wouldn't expect to see cars in the air. I think I have seen that in the past. We're not at Indy. We only have 1.5 miles, so we're not going to be reaching those peak speeds. And obviously with different aero packages for different tracks, it is going to be a little bit more tame. But trying to tell a racing driver to be tame can be quite a futile effort at times.
Definitely a little bit ambitious. Now, obviously, as well, when you first start, tires are cold, and you may mentally remember that for about half a second, a couple attempts, and then very quickly, you're in the pack, and all of a sudden, it's like, okay, full send, full send, full send. But I do find oval, it has such an interesting dynamic. Now, I've been doing a little bit of oval driving myself, but the IndyCar, not as much. Obviously, if you can't really bump draft with this thing. I've got a feeling some of these guys are going to test that theory. It definitely would not surprise me. Or we've seen these guys bump draft F1600s with a mixed series of success. We've seen them bump draft radicals as well. Do I think they're going to do it in the IndyCar? I certainly think they're going to try. But it's one of them things as well where obviously these cars have got a little bit of aero on them. There's a wing. The aero is full out, and certainly with the NASCAR side, if you sort of go out of the train, all of a sudden your car, you physically feel it slowing down. Now, is IndyCar going to be the same? I mean, just hanging out with the guys a little bit before the show, there's, even though like you're going in an oval circuit, like in theory, it looks, okay, this isn't that hard. My mum could do this. What? She probably could. Could she do it as well as these guys? I'm highly doubtful. She might get 2 corners, maybe 3 corners, and it's a 4-corner track. So, sorry, Mum. But there is a lot more that goes into it. These guys making adjustments in the cockpit on the fly. They're talking about like a wing setting and stuff like that they're able to adjust. Obviously tire life as well. Different lines. I'm hearing about like there's a crease almost in the middle of the track. They're focusing on that. The car behaves differently in traffic as well. There is a lot more variables going on, and I'm hoping a lot of the guys have got the driver cams on, because don't get me wrong, I'm a good-looking dude. Mike's an even better-looking dude, but I want to see the guys behind the wheel. I want to see the sheer moments of passion, frustration, and victory in the different scenarios, because even though this is like a virtual series, the racing is very much real.
Absolutely. The emotions could not run higher. One thing, obviously, I have, well, not obviously, and I'm Mike Noss, and for anyone that's just seeing me, but I grew up racing in real life and coming over to the sim a little bit later. So when people always say that, oh my goodness, sim racing, it never is the experience, you don't get that full absolute load. No, not true at all. It is, you get the full on adrenaline, your blood is pumping. It's just you don't have that ever-looming threat of death leaning over your head constantly, which is a nice little feeling. But no, sim racing, you get the full experience when it comes to battling on track, wheel banging and all, and driving some of these force feedback wheels nowadays with the new equipment and whatnot that's coming out. Well, force feedback can be sometimes more lethal than an actual wheel. But also just wanted to say welcome along to everybody here tonight. I see we have some people in chat here on Podium Esports. If you guys are enjoying that here, it is me, Mike Noss, joined with Daniel Salmon in the booth here tonight. Do hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and stick around. It's got plenty of content here on Podium. Now, as we have it, I would imagine we're going to be getting in here fairly soon to some of this action. But it will be a little bit here. I guess you're stuck with us in the meantime.
Oh gosh, well, it's not the worst thing, it could be worse. We could be stuck with Mr. Broomhead, one of our organizers. As much as I like to roast him, he is a very good friend, and obviously a lot of work goes into putting in these series. Now, for those of you that are interested, obviously you're watching this, you've got to be interested. So we've just closed up the BIS Radical Canada Cup, and for those of you that were following that, thank you very much. But we actually had the pro class and the amateur class. The winners of that get to drive a real Radical race car. So that was absolutely fantastic. I just want to give a shout out again to Robert Burgess from Radical Canada for making that happen. We've also had the F1600 Cup finish just very recently as well. That was sponsored by Motor Racing Checklist. Now, for those of you who don't know, that's Suelio Almeida. He's the guy who makes that, and he's driving a real Radical. He went and got a real race car. I was literally seeing on his Facebook, he started iRacing 5 years ago, so about the same time as me, but he's had a lot more success. I've ended up in the commentary booth with Mike Noss. I mean, that is the absolute pinnacle of commentary right there. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Christian Hill at the directions, but he's actually out racing real Radicals and having phenomenal success, you know. So I just want to shout out as well, Suelio, you know, good luck. I mean, he's testing in Sebring in the AMG GT4 right now with Riceback. Absolutely fantastic news, you know. Well done. It just goes to show, you know, sim to reality can happen.
100%, and that is such a cool experience. Gosh, that must be just thrilling to be behind the wheel of that in real life. And as you said, from the sim to real life, that's got to be, oh man, dream come true. And in terms of it here, sorry, apologies. We have up and coming, as we said, a lot of drivers on this field. These Indy cars are going to be close to the wall at all possible times. And for it, we have a lot of drivers joining this league as well. It looks like, I'm not sure how many have shown up exactly, but we have 32 drivers signed up for the championship and some fairly big names as well. And lots of teams, lots of diversity. And I think we're going to have a really, really exciting championship ahead of us, Daniel.
Oh, absolutely. Now, the guys to watch, now, obviously, I appreciate this is your first time here in BIS, and it's absolutely fantastic to have you on board. My sympathies to you as well for sharing the booth with me. You know, you'll get used to that. I'm an acquired taste. I'm like Marmite, you know, you either like it or you don't. But some names to watch now. Obviously, we've got Zach Buchanan. He is an incredibly fast driver. Great success in the F1600 and in the Radicals. Didn't quite go as planned near the end in the 1600s, if I remember rightly. Obviously, Michael Broomhead, he's quite someone to watch as well. As we have a look around as well, a couple of other names. Obviously, Diego Zuccarelli, he's somebody to watch as well. Lima Racing as a team, definitely someone to watch. Ozzy Milwayne, there's plenty of people in here, but you remember, this is oval. It's going to be a fresh restart for everybody.
Yeah, and that can be a real difference maker. Obviously, I know you'd mentioned before you come from the circuits. I also myself am a circuit driver and circuit commentator. So getting into these ovals, it's such an exciting thing to see. The wheel banging action and just the sheer elbows out in nature that you don't often get to see. And obviously, we're going to be seeing some pace cars. We got 120 laps ahead of us. I definitely expect a little bit of chaos, a little bit of carnage, but obviously we are going to be getting into that action here very, very soon, I think. We have it here leading us off on row one, the number 40 driver of Zachary Bucknan. Apologies on the mispronunciations in advance.
Buchanan, sir.
Buchanan.
There you go.
RDC. Starting off strong. Andrew Hardman in P2 here for the number 3 car. Lining up there, that is your row 1. Coming up in the second row, it is going to be Jonathan Wagner along with Byron Shute. Behind him will be the likes of John Benvalid, as well as Ozzy Milwayne. Number 14 Canadian driver brings up row 3. Joey Haynes is going to be your row 4 starter here for the P7, P8 belonging to Christian Gritzko. In the number 90, again, another Canadian driver. We have Spencer Todd from Canada again, the number 18, with Michael Broomhead Company, the 00, rounding out your top 10.
And as we have a look at 11th place, we've got James Doherty alongside Diego Zuccarelli. And on the next row, we got there Mark McDonald as well. He is going to be joined with Takeshi Kita as well. A newcomer there to the series. Can't say that I've seen these names before. If we have a look at row 8, we got Richard Swindells. He's a familiar face with Nicholas Colander. I got to say, what a selfie. Thank you for that. Definitely, he was just saying before the start of the race, he doesn't take it too seriously. I can see that with the selfie. Nick Horvath there, he's a BIS regular, along with Stuart Ross there on row 9 in 17th and 18th place. As we have a look at row 10, we have Ryan Taylor and Tori Pushman.
Coming home here onto the row 11, 20 P21 is going to be Asad Nikanabev Alongside him is going to be Robert Covey in the number 72. Behind them is going to be Clovis Gerard, apologies, and Cedric Dayan in the number 44 car in P24. Again, apologies on the mispronunciations. Marlon Jones in P25 with Eugene Cartney in P24 or in P26. The pace car here, though, is going to be coming in, and we are getting ready for the flag to drop the back of the grid there, you can see. But no, we go green, 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 and there's movement early throughout the fields as they go heading on now down into 1-2, side by side along the entire way here for the outside. Now, what is the lane these drivers are going to settle in on? I'm not too sure at this point.
I can't say that I am too sure either, honestly. You know, obviously, oval is a bit new to me, but we can see that already 2 wide, 3 wide in places. And again, my apologies to the people watching. This is my colleague's first time here with BIS, and we definitely have some interesting characters amongst us, myself being one of them. But so far, a clean start. Now, Mike, when's going to be your bet on when we see the first yellow flag?
Well, honestly, they've made it a little bit further than expected so far. We see some close drafting there throughout this pack, but so far we're clean. 3 wide, though, I see from the back there is Todd and again, apologies. Todd, number 11 there, Buchanan, is going to be battling alongside, but position swapping back and forth throughout the field.
Oh, okay, Benvelin, Mr. John Benvelin. Now, he is one of the guys there for Lima Racing. Absolutely fantastic individual, and it is great to see him back as well. Spencer Todd there in the 18 car. Looks like he's having a fight with Mike Broomhead. Now, some of you guys, oh no, that's a spin. We got a spin. That's Christian Gritzko in the 91 car. He was in P4. Certainly say not anymore. He is falling back with the wheel. Oh no, more carnage. Ricocheting off the wall, and we have our first caution on lap 4 of 120.
That car with enough mid-air time to be served wine on that flight. That was definitely a devastating blow. Certainly want to catch a replay on that one. That was quite the carnage. And yes, most certainly the pace car is going to be coming out early here. Well, a little bit, honestly, as I said, later than expected. So kudos to these drivers for keeping it clean for how long they did. But unfortunately, we have the result that was expected.
You have now presented me with a new challenge there, Mike. Now, often in broadcasts, I've tried to see how many different song titles I can squeeze. Often it's been Katy Perry. Christian is probably going to start cringing in a minute, our director. We've also had, you know, how many restaurant chains did that in Operation Motorsport broadcast a couple of weeks back. So now we're going to have to see how many airline references we can get every time there's a yellow flag. Now, I wonder if our director, it's a little short notice, maybe he can keep a little score, you know, on how many we can get. Obviously, Mike Nouse is currently on 1 with the wine reference. Now, I'm going to say he's currently, you know, he's got a flight booked, and he did not go past customs. The only place he got sent to was a detention center in the pit lane after that little brief contact. That's 1 apiece.
So we see the contact that led up to this here, and it was just a brief little touch. I'm not sure. It was a bit of a miscommunication, car going high, car going low, arguing over a lane, and, well, that caused this. I'm not completely sure how the second one started, if that was just a reaction from the other ones trying to avoid the contact, but it definitely happened a little bit later. So here's the first contact that we see right there. Honestly, just a little bit of a, again, miscommunication. I'm not sure that was a very light tap. Car went a little high, but that's the nature of open wheel racing. And then on the rejoin, gets collected, and well, the rest is history.
I'm trying to think which movie it is, but I think it might have been The Mask. But the line that's popping in my head right now is, "That's gotta hurt."
That's a lot of damage. That's the one that pops into mind for me. But yeah, big hits early on here. As it stands for right now, currently leading is going to be Zachary Buchanan with Byron Schutte behind, as well as Andrew Hardman in 3rd. Jonathan Wagner is coming home in 5th right now. In 4th, excuse me, for Jonathan, and Spencer Todd in 5th.
Ozzy Milwain currently in 6th, for Joey Hayes in 7th, Michael Broomhead in 8th, John Beverland in 9th, and Mark McDonald in 10th. Currently, they are there on a caution lap. I'm actually wondering as well, how many laps will the pace car get? You know, it's 120 laps is what these guys are supposed to do. Now, I almost wish we had a pool going of how many laps the pace car could do. You know, we'll have brackets. You know, like 1 to 5. You know, 5 to 10. You know, and then like you can even have more intricate brackets as well. But you know, Zachary Buchanan, he's in a good spot right now. Obviously, front of the field is a good place to be. I don't think you really got to worry about getting hit in the braking zone when it comes to a track like this. So that is a relief on some aspect. But obviously, you've got the draft being a big thing. I mean, even though you're going to be first off the line, how long are you going to have it? You know, can you try and take a defensive line and maintain that, or are you a sitting duck just from as soon as the green flag goes?
The alternative, obviously, Byron Schutte, he knows his place as well. He knows the melee. You can always work together. Now, this is something that's very optimistic, but something that drivers have to concede that at some point they have to do. With about over 100 laps left, you got no choice to work with the people around you, regardless of if you like them. You know the saying, an enemy of my enemy is my friend. There we go. We got there in the end. And so, yeah, you got to work together early on. Try not to cause too many incidents. And if he's going to go, if Schutte goes for the overtake early, Zachary probably won't fight it too much. And then he'll probably, I would imagine, you'll see some jostling back and forth for a little bit if they can manage to pull a gap. But so far, we haven't been able to really see that. It was about 5 laps before we go under caution. So the threat there for Zachary Buchanan is going to be it's up there. But obviously, he is going to be controlling the race restart when we come back green, and so he'll be the one off the line first.
Well, even though these guys are piloting the IndyCars with the aero, you know, they've all got to share the same runway. You know, it's definitely like, you know, everybody's on the track and going at these kind of speeds as well. I mean, these guys are hitting, there must be at least 180 mile an hour, you know. I could put that in kilometers, but you probably don't. Well, I'm going to guess that's what, about 320-ish. I'll convert it in a little bit, you know. But put it this way, they're going pretty flipping quick at that point, you know. You know, they're getting on with it, and certainly, you know, at those kind of speeds, it doesn't take much. You know, a little knock, a little touch, and you know, they may end up taking flight.
Even the wind. The wind can be a culprit often at times, and that's something when you're in those packs of 2, 3 wide, and you get the dirty air that washes off the car that can be just enough sometimes to unsettle your vehicle. And I mean, it gets a little loose, you get that little snap of steering, and we can see what happened earlier. Pace car, though, peeling in here, and we are going to be handing the lead over here to Byron. He is going to be taking it at the green, and it's already going to be chaos and carnage. And it's going to be an immediate caution. The pace car driver is surely getting his pay in today.
Joey Haynes actually basically got launched across the pit wall. That was phenomenal. So, you know, they say yellow flags cause yellow flags. In this case, that is 100% true. You know, we have a absolute cluster on the runway, and it's fair to say ground control is going to have to come in and clean it up. You know, that yellow flag coming straight back out. The marshals are not happy.
No, and we can see the damaged car there in pit lane. Not sure if there are any fast repairs. I would assume no. We would see the car still in the pit lane, so would have imagined it would be out again. But as we wait here to pull up the replay, I'd imagine what we're going to see here is a miscommunication and a driver maybe seeing the green flag a little bit earlier than should have. Let's take a look, though. Looking in that mid-pack, obviously, you can already see people getting on the throttle, trying to predict the go, and that is exactly the case. A bit of a jump-the-gun situation, and that was very early. And wow, that car into the pit lane, upside down, racking up the frequent flyer miles.
Oh, well played. Even the pace car was getting in on the brutality. You know, pace car's supposed to be pacifist. Well, in that case, apparently not.
Whew, that was a tight rejoin. That might have been William, or not William, excuse me, Byron.
Wowzers.
Not that Byron.
So far, BiS IndyCar has definitely delivered on the action part. Now, depending on what you define as action, as I look at the wing of that car, or more so the lack of one, you know, it is definitely aerodynamically challenged at that point. Definitely needing a bit of repairs, and it's fair to say that he may also need a little bit of an alignment, but the more I look at that car, the less wing I can see. If it is there, it appears to be an interesting setup angle. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand oval isn't necessarily 50-50 balance, but I'm inclined to agree that that is not the correct attachment procedure.
No, certainly not a showroom-ready IndyCar for that team, and rejoining into pit lane here with a lot of other, again, joining the damage club here, the Mile High Club, might you call it. That's 3-1, by the way. We have
4-3, 4-3.
4-3. Who's keeping score? Who's keeping
Hey,
score?
I'm literally keeping score. Look at the
Also, chat, of course, if you guys are, get your predictions in again. How many pace cars are we going to see tonight? This has been number 2, and we are 11 laps in. So do predict maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, or more. You never know.
5 times a winner. Oh, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, dear.
Chat, I don't know if chat had that on their bingo card tonight. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, fortunately / unfortunately, haven't had the pleasure of commentating with Daniel before, but this is, I love it. Absolutely loving it so far.
Like I said, I'm an acquired taste. Some things I do take a little bit more seriously. This one is pretty chill. BIS, we are quite a relaxed team. Everybody's very passionate about the racing, but they're also out to have a good time. And a couple of drivers, certainly challenging that envelope right now. At the minute, we're having to pick up pieces of car from baggage claim. It's not quite how it's supposed to go.
Oh, you can't just knock me. You can't set me up like that and send it over. Oh my goodness. All right. No, this is, gotta say, loving the racing so far. As it stands here, our lead has not changed. Zachary Buchanan is still Buchanan. We got there in the end, folks. We got there in the end. Now the question is, when are we going to be seeing the pit lane? I would imagine, with these pace cars, really, it's up in the air, but probably around the 30s, maybe we'll be seeing them come into pits. I don't think we're doing stages here tonight, but we're doing unofficial stages in case anyone hasn't kept track.
I never quite understood the whole stage thing myself. I've never quite grasped the concept. As far as I know, the cars just keep going. The way I see it, because I do like a fun, it's completely silly oval thing on a Saturday night sometimes, maybe have a beer or two, which may be why I don't understand what's going on. But, they say, oh yeah, okay, this is the winner of the stage thing. And I'm like, what? The race ain't over yet. I've never quite grasped it. But again, more of a road guy. But it looks like they're going to be going green very shortly. And another thing as well, as you can see here, the pace car is a Ford Mustang, and thankfully it's driven by iRacing, because if it had been driven by most Mustangs, it may have inadvertently gone and hit one of the passengers. It's not what you want on your flight. You go out there. And my director's just told me he drives a Mustang, and ladies and gentlemen, that is why he's in the director's booth. He's trying to pay and earn for the multiple casualties last time he took the car out. And I believe it's only a V6 model with the automatic as well. He just doesn't quite have the stones for the V8. And he shifts worse than grandma after she's had a big win at bingo.
Absolutely savage, as he can't even fight back in the comms booth. But as we have it, we go back green here. You can see the 2-wide action already developing in the mid-pack. Up front, though, fairly nip and tuck as it stands. Going to be trying to file down there. Looks like the inside is where these drivers are favoring here tonight. Still green. That's always positive. I spoke too soon.
Aussie Mill Wayne has gone round. It looks like, as I watch the replay on my end, it looks like it was just a little bit of cold tires. It's just a yellow. It's not a full course yellow, I think. I think we're going to be okay.
No, the one in oval racing, when the caution comes out, pace car, I think, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the pace car always comes out.
Oh my gosh.
And so
I'm going to have to go and shoot the pace car driver.
Well, don't worry. I got fun facts for us here tonight. So, in case you were curious, obviously, we're down here in Homestead, Florida. We're talking about flights all the time. Now, one thing that people don't often talk about is birds. You know how many bird species, Daniel, there are in Homestead, Florida?
I honestly don't. I'd be more interested in how many bird species have gone through a jet engine. Now, to me, that's a much more fascinating statistic. How do you like your chicken blended?
A little grim, fair enough. But there are over 500 species of birds that are going to be migrating throughout all of Florida there in the south. Birds of, obviously being in South Florida, some of them including the roseate, the spoonbill, the black skimmer, brown pelicans, and Florida scrub jays. Also more. Obviously, I said 500. That wasn't 500.
Definitely wasn't 500. If you manage to get 500 in that quick thing, then you should be working in an auction house. Oh, we'll get it 100 now, 100 now, 100. Can I hit 200, 200 now? This is how the betting's going to be going on the next safety car. Come on, guys. Pull your finger out, keep it on the track, try and behave yourselves. You know, the guys came here to watch some racing, not to necessarily just see, you know, you guys do pace laps. Come on now. I'm expecting better from you.
And let's go back and let's take a look at exactly what caused this pace car. We didn't quite catch that on the main feed. Didn't catch the smoking tires though in the background. That's the stranded vehicle there as we go slightly further here and see what has happened. So in that slipstream, and that's what I was talking about earlier, folks. That's the dirty air. Really, the back end there just not complying with the front, and the car goes around. Spencer Todd is, well, not going to be too happy with himself. Does take a nice chunk out of that front wing, and that is going to be that front end downforce. Well, even more gone than it just was.
Yeah, I gotta admit as well, the iRacing damage model on the IndyCar, I'm actually going to explore that quite a little bit today, and it's fascinating. If you actually whack the thing hard enough, like its nose falls off. It's pretty fascinating, really. But I can't say I can compare it to a real one. I mean, if anybody ever let me loose near one of them, I would be questioning their life-making decisions and many other things about them. But hey, I wouldn't say no given the chance. But honestly, though, it's like you said, you did a bit of real racing and stuff like that as well, or you know, you've been around the racetrack and stuff like that. As much as I love, you know, cars and going fast and that, with my experience level, like in real life, I've actually found I'm much better at dirt and rally. Ironically, didn't expect that. Same in the sim, but I actually found that when I did do a track day, I didn't want more power. I didn't want more speed. I actually wanted more grip. I wanted more grip, more brakes, more suspension. That was what interested me. So I think a lot of it comes with seat time as well. And these guys are going to find the same thing as well. You know, the more hours they get in the logbook, you know, obviously the closer they get to their pilot's license and stuff like that, the more experience they're going to get, the more comfortable. And it's not just driving the car. I mean, these guys may have done some practice laps and gone, okay, I can get around the track. Great. But all of a sudden now they've got this traffic to deal with. And those practice laps might have gone, okay, you know, now the car's behaving a bit differently. And as I was saying earlier, you know, you got the different settings in the cars. There's a lot more to think about.
Oh, absolutely. And no push to pass for these cars, as that would be a bit weird in the oval racing. So it's going to be down to the pure driver's skill alone. Managing the tires, managing the fuel, and managing your temper really is one of the biggest things in oval racing. And one of the more difficult things to manage as well. Obviously, these drivers, they see that little red haze that I often like to see, and it turns into a very thick fog very quickly. Pace car lights, though, have gone out, and we are going to be seeing the green flag waving next time around here. The number 40 car will be leading us away again. That's going to be Zachary Buchanan, Byron Shute in P2, and Andrew Hardman in third.
You got Jonathan Wagner there in fourth, Diego Zuccarelli in fifth, Takeshi Kita in sixth with Richard Swindles. That's pretty good. He's up to seventh. Atta boy. Not that I'm biased, but I've dealt with the guy a few times. He is absolutely wonderful. Has the sweet, velvety voice of a fine malt whiskey. Ryan Taylor there in eighth, Nick Horvath in ninth, and Nicholas Colander, our most serious competitor here in BIS with the tongue out selfie. He is there in 10th.
And as we come back around, he is an orange traffic cone in the middle there, and he legitimately is. That's awesome. What a livery. Green flag, though, is going to be coming out here into the air. The pace car is in. We got Zachary up at the front here. He is going to be taking us away, and he is gone. Byron Shute in the back there, going to be under pressure as these three walk away. It was a stellar start for the top three. Jonathan Wagner not so lucky off the pole, as he is going to be under pressure pretty immediately, and we see side by side between Takeshi and Diego.
I'm going to start to wonder as well if these guys would have gone, okay, we've done like 3 safety cars now. You know, maybe we want to actually try and get some racing done. You know, obviously they're going to be burning off a little bit of fuel, but at that point, you know, you just want to try and get some time. And you can see Diego Zuccarelli here, the 26 car. I believe that is Michael Broomhead ahead of him. No, it's Takeshi Kita ahead of him. I do apologize. And trying to make a little bit of a run. As I look at the timing screen, it is lit up with people being close to each other. It's kind of hard to get a close idea on where the battles are. Put it this way, they are absolutely everywhere. Everybody is within just a stone's throw of each other for the most part, apart from Eugene Cartini, who sadly appears to be down a lap or several.
Yeah, these are the IndyCar races are often a knife fight in a phone booth, and it really just comes down to who wants it the most, who has the will, who has the heart to push it to the next limit. but sometimes that is obviously going to cost you, as overdriving the car will severely cost you. There is going to be presumably multiple pit stops in this race as well. Now, barring the well-timed pace cars, and we might see a real strategic battle up at the front. It will be very interesting to see, of course. And obviously, these drivers here, as they try to nurse it through, we see that down the inside. I think these are two teammates trying to negotiate a position. I can't quite tell. That's Diego in currently P7 here. Or, yes, in P7. Under pressure, though, down the inside there. He's running that mid to high line. The inside line, I got to say, looks the quickest here tonight. Obviously, that's going to cause the most wear on your tires. It's progressive banking. So you do kind of want to use that inside, which will allow you just to send it in. But at the top, you're going to be seeing a little bit, an equal amount of grip. I think it's 18 to 20 degree banking here, or 18 to 21, something like that.
And for those who are wondering, that is not financial advice. It's only 18 to 20 on banking. You know, the stocks have gone up in the Podium TV airline, as you can see here. That is another point for me. We're now at 11.4 to Zippy on the airline references. But that is Diego Zuccarelli, and it's good to see a driver cam on. He's obviously forgot to hit the unlock on his phone, but that's fine. We'll forgive him. He appears to be flexing, actually. I'll give him that. He's absolutely showing off those guns. As you can see there, just trying to keep the car in a straight line. Definitely that shirt is tighter than it maybe needs to be. Just wants to show off the fact that this guy obviously works out. Now that I've made him blush and he can't hear me, and he probably never goes on camera again, hopefully he can keep it clean. As you can see there, he is hot in pursuit of Richard Swindles, the number 16 car, currently about 0.2 of a second behind him.
He's going to be nice and calm and patient, though, and that's what you need, that nice calm head, as I said before. Work together here with your teammate, or not teammate, but it's at the moment all you got. Swindles is going to be thinking the same thing. Obviously, with such a long way to go, it's not really worth battling tooth and nail for that position. Richard Swindles there in P7. Currently ahead there, obviously, of Zuccarelli. I don't know what I'm saying, just trying to think.
I tried that once. It's never worked out for me yet.
I would say I'm in the same boat there, but he is currently, I gotta say, he is reeling him in slowly but surely. But the thing is that really matters is up at the front, though, that gap is increasing. So the chance there for that podium slipping away, and obviously the top three, they're looking dominant here at this stage.
Well, definitely, if you can manage to break the draft, then all of a sudden, you know, you can start to separate the packs. And I don't think you can really bump draft in these. Don't get me wrong, I've got a feeling some of the guys are going to try. But after having 3 safety cars in quick succession, I think everybody's got a little fed up with that. And they're now like, okay, let's just try and race. You know, maybe I'll back out of this a little bit. And, you know, the carnage obviously brings everybody to an end, but I'm actually looking at Stuart Ross right now. He is car number 20, and it looks like him and Robert Covey are having a little bit of a fight. Now, Stuart Ross, one of the regulars here in BiS, as is Robert Covey as well. Fantastic to have him back, and these guys are going 2 wide, 3 wide, and the absolutely fantastic beard of Robert Covey as well. He is also a commentator, great guy, really great guy. Howler Racing. I've been doing it for a few years. I know you can't quite see it, but it's a bit of a wolf logo in there. But he's a quite smart racer. I don't think he'll be fighting for everything he's got. I think he's just going to kind of bide his time a little bit. You know, if Stuart Ross gets ahead, that's fine. You know, as long as he can stay with the draft and, you know, be in contention. Obviously, we've seen incidents can happen here, and almost having that little bit of a gap gives you a chance to, you know, just try and avoid any potential incidents. But he's got to make sure he stays close enough that he doesn't get lost from the pack.
Absolutely. The real places that you don't want to be in the middle of an IndyCar race is the dead center of the pack. And if you're in the front, you're good. If you're in the back, you're also good. And you're just going to be trying to wait and reap some benefits from these drivers as they try to sow the destruction that is ahead of them. You can see position changes there. Great view from the cockpit here of Robert Covey as he looks dialed in as ever. The beard stoically blowing in the wind well, not really, if only.
I do understand that he auditioned for Wolverine, but it was deemed that he couldn't quite get the nails. You know, the beard was that incredible. You know, Gandalf as well, he definitely has the wisdom, but fantasy wasn't really his thing. But I do apologize. If anybody is wondering if I'm just roasting the guy, me and Robert Covey are pretty good. We get on very well. But we got Clovis Gerard. He is another BiS regular. He's actually he's quite young as well, this lad, but he also is a engineer. Well, not an engineer, he's kind of like an engineering training for some of the race cars. I believe he gets involved with real F-1600s and maybe even some of the radicals as well. But you can see there he's got his camera set up. He's got the gloves on, and quite a serious face from Clovis today. He is definitely invested. And if I remember rightly, when we watched him with the F1600s, he was actually using the Formula wheel, but with a H-pattern shifter. Obviously, these cars are all paddle shift. You know, you got the flappy paddles on the side, and I can't say there's going to be too much shifting, but I'm sure he's going to be feeling a lot of that force feedback. Looks like a direct drive unit, and that's quite a small wheel as well. So this guy's arms are definitely going to be getting a workout.
Yeah, it's milking a cow, is what I like to say it, as when you're just wrestling back and forth, giving her all she's got. But as it stands, Clovis there, dialed in. Obviously, you said an F-116 pilot. Well, let's see if he can manage to keep his car grounded here. He doesn't want to turn that into an F-16, as we've seen tonight. A couple cars flying through the ranks, and that hasn't worked out too well for them, obviously.
I'm just hoping that we can keep air traffic control away from the yellow flag. That's what I'm hoping for.
I can't win. He's too dedicated, chat. He's too dedicated.
Ooh, who's making a move here? We got, that looks like Clovis Girard is under attack. Am I right? Yes, Clovis Girard. Who's attacking him, though? That must be Mark McDonald. Now, this is a newcomer to the BIS series. I don't know what he has for racing experience. I'm going to try and find out for you, see if we can find a couple of little hints. And at the minute, I'm looking in my little cheat sheet, and it's a little bit blank. I just understand that he runs with Rust Racing.
And there, I think this is, I think we're not looking at Mark McDonald. We'll see as it updates here. You gotta love the in-game timings. Live TV, everybody. You gotta love it. That's Robert Covey, obviously making himself known and shown.
There you go. So we have a battle of the drivers with cameras, and if anything goes sideways, it'll be very interesting to see the facial reaction of sheer disgust, pleasure, however which way it's going to go. At this point, you know, the stakes aren't too high. We're currently lap 37 of 120. You know, there's definitely a bit of a way to go. As you can see him trying to make his way past that fantastic track. That's got to be one of my favorite paints. I'm sorry, having a traffic cone for a car paint is just phenomenal. It's like it's a very simple idea, but beautifully executed. I very much approve. But there is another thing about traffic cones, is sometimes it's kind of fun to be a bit of a douche and just run them down. Especially if they're them traffic cones that are waving like the little lights and stuff and trying to guide you into the parking spot. Definitely, you know, it gets a little bit more gruesome, but, you know, a lot of fun, I hear. Anyway.
We are not inducing taking out of any traffic cone shaped Indy cars. We do not support that that decision. Side by side, though, into the banking, we might be seeing 3 wide here soon enough if these guys are feeling frisky at this moment. Still, though, not even halfway into the race. Robert Covey there is going to get dispatched one more position, but that's nothing to fret at this moment. He has a long ways to go. P16 at the moment has made up some positions. I'm not sure. Has that been pits? I think it is. I think our race leader has decided to come into pit lane as I try to find where they went. Or, no, they have not. My apologies. Where has... Hang on. Where did...
It'd be interesting to see when they do first pit as well. Obviously, we're lap 40 of 120, but they probably served a good amount of those laps under the safety car. So, you know, it's kind of going to throw out the window as well. You know, that's where having like a auto fuel calculator will definitely help. But another interesting factor as well. Now, I'm not too sure on this. Maybe yourself now. I don't know how familiar you are with the Indy cars, but do they take the tires at the same time they take the fuel? Because, you know, sometimes, you know, I found with iRacing years ago, I remember doing Spa, I think it was 2021, if I remember rightly. It was my first race leading Top Gun racing, and we actually got second, and there was one in our split anyway, and second or third, I can't remember now. It was phenomenal opening debut, but anyway, there was one point where we weren't taking tires between stints, and on the third stint, I decided to do, because I was on a hot streak, I brought the tire in at 4%, and you could tell that thing was running on hopes and dreams, and you know, it was definitely... did not come with a free meal. It was very much, you know, being taken by the jet stream, just trying to get the thing home. But yeah, you know, certainly iRacing has had updates, and I don't think at this point there would be any advantage to not changing tires. I imagine it's probably almost a freebie in terms of time. That's where I was trying to get with that.
I would imagine so as well. might as well take it. I would imagine. I think we might only see one pit stop here tonight. I really have no idea how long these cars can go in field. Chat, if you guys have any idea, do let us know. Also, let us know who you're supporting in for all these drivers. We got 26 drivers on the field here tonight. Let us know who you're rooting for. Obviously, at the moment, Zachary Buchanan is leading us to the number 40. We got Byron Shute in second. Andrew Hardman currently in third. We just saw got overtaken. It's the number 2 in P2 and the number 3 in P3. Some say that's a little bit fate.
That's convenient. Even I can keep track of that. As I'm having a look through the field as well, so another couple of familiar names we're seeing. Obviously, we've mentioned a few of them so far, but another one I do want to bring light to is the 23 car of Assad Nakadenbev. Now, one of the younger drivers in the series, and I gotta say, I've never seen him do an oval before. I mean, well, I've never seen any of these guys do an oval before. It's my first time here commentating an oval, so I do apologize for that. But Assad, he's been doing really well, and generally he's been keeping it out of the trees as well, which is good. He's going to be a driver to watch throughout the series, more so on the road circuits. Obviously, oval, you know, it's kind of hard to really have like a form for these guys, you know, a standings, because I've not really seen who really excels at this yet. It's all fresh territory for me and for them, but he's going to be one of the guys to watch. 23 car, keep your eye on him throughout the series.
Absolutely, and on that as well, I think that's a really good point. Also, is that the Azerbaijani flag? What flag is that?
I couldn't tell you. I may have failed geography.
Is that not a country flag? Is that a country? I think that's like, anyways, chat, please let me know if that is I love flags, and I feel like I recognize that. It's not like, what is it? It's not, anyways, we'll come back to that, but, I don't even know where I was going. I sidetracked myself with that. Anyways, Assad, though, definitely one of those drivers out there, as he said, keeping an eye on throughout this race, currently sitting in that 11th position. Can he sneak into the top 5? We'll see. I feel like there is still a chance. It's actually Uzbekistan's flag. And so we've had a little update in my ear. So that's great to know. Thank you.
I'm willing to bet that you can't spell it, though.
No. I probably could at one point in time, but I can't now.
Well, I know one thing now. If his car does happen to take flight, I'm going to name it Uzbekistan Airlines. And that takes the score up to 15-5 for those who have been keeping count. Believe me, I have. 15-5 for how many air-related references can we get into this stream. And we're only at lap 50 of 120, folks. By all means, if you got some in the chat, feel free. We'll get your score going. At 5, I'm sure you could probably beat my co-host, Mr. Mike Knowles.
Can you tell he's competitive, chat?
Well, I'm not on the track. I've got to roast somebody.
Oh, as our producer in our ear is getting a little frisky as well with these with us, not necessarily with the drivers. Still, though, I will say these drivers been 50 laps. Oh no, 40 laps without a pace car. So looking promising at this moment. Now, obviously, once that pit phase comes, we're going to start to see things get shaken up. I don't think we're going to see drivers necessarily coming in individually. I know, as we'd mentioned, a lot of these guys are road course drivers. This is going to be really interesting with strategy, because oval strategy is completely different than the strategy that you're going to see in road courses. You're going to want to pit with at least 3 or 4 drivers here, at least on a super speedway. Here it's a little bit, you can get away with maybe 2 drivers pitting at the same time, but you need to work with somebody. You need to come at the same time just so you can keep that little bit of a slipstream and a punch going on and the momentum. Ideally, you want to come in with at least 3, 4, 5 different drivers, though.
So what you're saying is basically you need to have a co-pilot, maybe some stewardess staff as well, and that way you're going to have a successful flight.
He's just... Some of them are reaches. That's, you know...
You got to reach for the skies. That was the easiest one, yeah.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
I don't know why I gave you an extra point in the tally, so I'm going to retract that. We're now at 17-5, ladies and gentlemen. There is no competition here. I'm winning.
I think there is a mercy rule, as we have in the background, but yes, the mercy rule was kicked in a while ago.
Hey, his first show here, and depending on how he feels about this, potentially his last. You know, can he handle battling against Daniel Zippy Salmon in the booth? Now, you know, I feel sorry for anybody who tries, but it's more about the racing, ladies and gentlemen. I do enjoy spicing it up a little bit, especially, sometimes there isn't the closest fights going on, so you have to rely on us for entertainment. My sympathies to you for that, but at the minute, the biggest battle I can see as I look through the timing is currently between the number 3 car of Andrew Hartman and Nick Horvath in 4th. Now, these guys are both BIS regulars. Andrew Hartman, generally phenomenally quick when he comes out, doesn't have 100% attendance. Nick Horvath as well, generally, again, very quick, a little bit inconsistent though, but they're currently pulling away from Jonathan Wagner. He's about 7-8 tenths of a second behind him, and the question is, can these guys work together to catch up to Byron Shute, who's about a second ahead? And Byron Shute actually is only just under 3 tenths of a second off Zachary Buchanan as well. So potentially that podium still in play at this point as we're heading towards the halfway mark.
I would say all of these positions are to play for, even P1 at this stage. Anything can happen in racing, and especially in IndyCar, and it normally does. This is always a league that can, especially once we start getting back markers. Obviously, I'm surprised we haven't seen too many yet at this stage. We are now starting to see the drivers come in for their stops. We have the Azerbaijani driver coming in for his stop here. And it's going to be a nice quick one. Looks like fuel only, fuel only, no tires, I would imagine there.
No, he
still
had
stationary.
I seen the car go up and down. I don't think they're picking it up and down for fuel. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they might just, maybe it's like one of them Mercedes and it's just the boingy boingy thing. I don't know. But definitely he's taking a longer pit stop. But I suppose, at this point, you're halfway through. I guess, in theory, you're going to have enough fuel to last the end. Well, saying that, we've had the safety cars come out. Now, myself, some people are into, okay, I'll pit at halfway. I always pit as late as possible, but another thing to factor in as well, can you pit under a safety car? I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a bit of a stretch. Obviously, the likes of our leader, Zachary Buchanan here, he is going to be trying to stretch it out as long as he possibly can. And it looks like, actually, Zachary has already come in for a pit, it looks like. He's currently running in P12. And he is in a little bit of traffic as well. So that's going to be a bit of an issue for him. He's obviously going to be on presumably fresh rubber, or at least maybe fresh rights. I'm not sure if he took lefts or not. But it's interesting. Obviously, as I think both of us from circuit racing, I come from GT racing in particular. So when I see the cars get lifted, that's just, in my mind, default. So I'm honestly not too sure.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing to think about as well. So if I understand this correctly, the right side of the car gets loaded up much heavier. So you'll find that the pressures are running much higher and the tires will wear incredibly quicker. And imagine that the car is almost sliding a little bit as it goes around the corner. It's so hard to grasp, like, I guess, physicistly, it's not the word I'm trying to get to, but
yeah, aerodynamically, just grip, mechanical grip versus aerodynamical grip, and the amount of just compression that, first off, these cars are producing onto the circuit. I mean, they are being slammed onto the track with thousands of pounds of force, but you have to use that throttle, and as you said, they're slipping. The back end is constantly slipping, but it's a calculated slip, and that's what you call drifting sometimes, folks, is a calculated slip angle. But and sometimes not calculated. But obviously, here in the banking, it allows you just to send it into the corners at much higher speeds than you'd be able to if it was a flat corner. That's going to make a lot more wear on those right side tires than your left. So it adds, it's a very different form of racing.
It's actually just given me an idea. So continuing with my aeronautical, puns and stuff, it almost like as they're going around, they could do having a little bit of rudder. Now, I'm thinking, why not add this to a Formula car, an Indy car? Adrian Newey, by all means, just cut me in. 10% of the winnings will do fine, but have a wing that has rudders in it. I mean, why not? Can you imagine the sheer downforce? I mean, they've tried passive steering before. I think the Porsche 928 had that, and the Nissan 300ZX had that, and there was also a Honda that tried it as well. For those that don't understand, the passive steering, imagine as you turn, say you turn left, the rear wheels would also turn left as well. Fantastic for doing donuts, interesting handling dynamic, but why not have a wing that aerodynamically does that as well? I mean, you've seen an air brake where a wing will, instead of being like flat like that, will basically go and become vertical. The Bugatti Veyron is a great example of that. It becomes an air brake. Why not have an air rudder? Adrian Newey, cut me in.
I mean, DRS is kind of an air rudder. in a way.
But
I
on
mean, it's not quite what you were saying, but you know,
it's on a horizontal plane. What if you
I
had
see
it
what
on
you're
like a
saying.
vertical plane?
Oh, it might get like, oh man, that thing would have to be pretty anchored.
I think it would. I kind of want to experiment with that. I mean, a
It's sort of like
hovercraft
what the
handles.
motorcycles are doing with MotoGP these days, where they're putting little winglets on every little bit. I mean, they're not quite
Cool.
active, but I got to say those are. I mean, it's allowing just stupid amounts of cornering for those bikes, and it works. Little
Myself,
sticky outy bits on all of them.
I'm a gentleman who gets very excited about the idea of having a pop-up spoiler. To me, that is just pure. Blah.
I see what
The
you're
Chrysler,
saying now. Okay.
Chrysler Crossfire, probably not that cool a car, but in the coupe version with the pop-up wing, you just want to hit the button and be like, race mode.
Just rocks your socks a little bit good there. Fair
Yeah,
enough. Look at a bit of a battle developing though here. What is this? Oh, this is a back marker. My apologies. We can continue the banter as we have some overtaking. Byron Shoot getting by some fellow cars as they are going to be on the previous lap now. And have they made their pit stop or not? That I am not sure, but it is going to be necessary for them to make their pit stop fairly soon. Byron Shoot running currently in 6th, so never mind. He already has made his stop. Shows what I know.
Well, so the top 3 of the standings right now, they are yet to grace the pit lane, and I'm sure it won't be too long before air traffic control has a word and says, look guys, you need to come in and get some fuel. But Mark McDonald, he is right on the tail of Spencer Todd there. I say that as he backed off because he is heading in the pits. That's 2 of them. Michael Broomhead still going, I believe. He is absolutely, he's running on hopes and dreams right now. Let's hope he's in a warm current of air, just trying to, get that little bit of lift. But he is coming into the pits, the last pitter, I believe, potentially. As I look at my standings, I got a feeling there may be a couple more, but it's good to see that. Oh dear, and that is
that works out. I was about to say that works out so well for Michael Broomhead. Not so much for Takashi though, as he is faced the incorrect direction on track, and that wing has been detached from the well, not the aircraft. Let's not go that far.
Oh no, I'll give you the point.
You can give me the point. All right, fine. That's fine.
19.6 at the minute.
Dragging along the ground there. Oh, they're going to need an inspection of that black box after that one.
Oh, well played, sir. Well played. The ground crew is definitely going to be busy. I'll take one right back.
Hopefully, Takashi doesn't need to get his baggage out because he might be headed home. All right, that's enough for right now. That's enough for right now. Lap 50, almost halfway done with this race. We almost made it to the halfway point before the caution came back out, and we are going to be seeing. It's 120 laps, isn't it?
Yeah, we did.
50 to go. Oh, 50 to go. I can read. Whoa, easy there, Takashi. No, you're missing a back wing, but the brakes should be hopefully still in check. As Murray Walker once said, as long as all 4 wheels are facing the correct direction, that's all that really matters. And there is the synchronized pit stop. I will say that rear wheel does not look fully intact, though, and there's a bit of a kerfuffle going on here. I'm not sure. It's a melee in the pit lane. Not quite sure how to read that.
As I look at that right rear wheel, it does make me think sometimes if you ever see a car going down the road, you tend to see it on the rear more so. If you ever see a car going down the road, and it looks like the wheel is absolutely bouncing like, it's just completely like, it's maybe done some illicit substance and it's just absolutely rocking its heart out. That basically means the shock absorber's gone, and it is absolutely hilarious to watch because it's like just going like bung dida bung dida bung dida bung dida bung, but as it goes down the road, his car looked very similar in that right rear corner at that particular moment. Now, I may work on the tools, I say professionally. I'm a mechanic. Professional is up for debate. I'm generally pretty good, but a lot to learn still. But iRacing mechanic there, it does appear that he damaged the right rear shock.
Yeah, big damage on that car, and he is going to need to get that obviously fixed, as the meatball flag would be flying in the air for him to say, no, you cannot continue this race. You have to make a pit stop. But the race has changed a little bit here. I will say we have, I think, is Byron Shoot, or is Beerson? Oh my goodness. I've been saying that name wrong the whole time. I apologize, Shoot. Pearson Shoot is leading this race on my timing charts, but I'm not sure that is fully the case. Bryson, apologies.
Yeah, I think Bryson's in the lead. Mike Broomhead behind him, Andrew Hardman. Zachary Buchanan, even though he's pit, he's currently in sick. But Mike Broomhead, absolutely. It's almost like Takeshi was on payroll at that point, you know, but fantastic result. I mean, absolutely. The Jammy Dodger Award, I'd say. I mean, it's not a legit point scoring position, but here we can see Takeshi Kita in the 64 car. They're going round and all looks well, all looks good. And then, oh, that's a little bit of a nudge.
That's a really rude block. That was a rude block.
A little bit of netcode. That's what I'm saying.
It could have been. It could have been netcode. I don't know. It looked like a bit of a block in the corner there, which is fair enough. Takashi just was not expecting it. And here's the onboard here, so you can see they picked their lane, and all of a sudden that lane has disappeared. Yeah, it was a little bit rude.
I wonder if we can get a view from that red car that we've seen behind, actually. I got a feeling we're going to get a good... I do wonder. I can maybe find out for you. Hang on. Let me have a look.
Very, very unfortunate. Takashi, that's the second incident they've been caught up in tonight, so that is going to be pretty much the evening done and dusted for them. Hopefully they can recover come Long Beach, where they obviously maybe more of a circuit track specialist. And oh no, the rear right has gone again. It's the same issue. The mechanics just worked so hard to get that fixed on Kita's car, and immediately it's gone and busted again.
Yeah, and the car I was looking for, Nick Horvath. Maybe we get a chance, maybe not, but it looks like they're getting ready to go. Nick Horvath was the one who would have had the front seat view of that. But not to worry, I'm sure there will be plenty of other incidents, but we've seen so far here at BIS, the IndyCar Series, our debut round, and some of these guys are debut introduction to BIS. We've already seen yellow flags have caused yellow flags. You know, this guy is going to need to make a claim with WCB, the amount of waving he's been doing. And we see there they're green, and Bryson Shoot leads them off.
Bryson is gone on that restart, and we're going to be immediately challenged here to go 3 wide for P2. It looks like they're going to settle, though. The inside lane moving to the middle, though, as it's going to be a block there onto Andrew Hardman just to get by. Nick Horvath struggling here side by side with Andrew as they go through 2. It looks like that outside line, he's going to get a great exit here as he slingshots his way through the corner and carries the speed onto the straight, gets by. That's not going to be the job done, though. He needs to move on to the inside here sooner than later if he wants to really consider keeping that, or he feels comfortable to the top. He has the clear. He's good to go onto the inside, but it looks like everybody has moved up a lane here. We saw earlier on the drivers were favoring that inside lane. It seems that now more middle top. I don't know at this point, really. It just seems it's all up in the air. These drivers trying to find any advantage they can.
Well, you say that. Broomhead and Hardman are now currently going to have an advantage. These guys are teammates. They are both running for Britannia iSports, so hopefully these guys can work together. But I got to be honest, going side by side with each other, I don't think it's going to be the way to go. They need to get in a draft and absolutely, you know, try and create a little bit of a gap between them and the cars behind. But you can see there, Jonathan Wager, he's managed to slip in between them. And, you know, Hardman's definitely not defeated yet, but they want to try and pull away from Buchanan. We know Buchanan is pretty lethal in the car, but I think Jonathan Wager, he may be Britannia iSports as well. He is. So 3 of them together now. It's almost like they're masquerading as a trio.
Almost as if. Here we go. Wagner to the inside lane. He's going to be very confident on the lower part here, but still moving back up high on exit. Love that camera as you see the cars roar by. Gives a real sense of speed, these cars traveling. Honestly, as you said earlier, I think probably around maybe 160. I honestly have no idea how quickly these Indy cars are getting up to speed here. That's something I should have done my homework on. But Jonathan, currently the number 47, looks like they're going to do about 200 MPH? Or KPH?
Yep. I'm seeing
MPH,
204,
holy smokes.
210 out of Horvath right now, 212, 13, 14, 15. Can I hear 16 now? 16? No. O's.
Man, obviously in 2 weeks, not in 2 weeks, but in 2 races time, we are going to be seeing that Indy 500 where these cars are going to be cresting 220 easily. And that is going to be another caution as we have, is that Kita in the wall again? that the third caution that Kita has caused tonight?
They're going to get their pilot's license revoked at this point. Certainly ground control is not going to be happy. The Federal Bureau will be investigating into that, and definitely not the way you want to have your night go. For atomic racing, obviously the car is running on something atomic right now. The right front wheel appears to be having a little bit of a moment. It appears the cowling is currently, grazing the floor as well. Now, don't get me wrong, if you want to get screen time here at BIS, there is ways of doing it, and preferably not by having little wrecks. But I wonder almost if we can zoom in. How much detail does iRacing give us on that engine bay? I mean, I do wonder. Maybe we've got a camera for it as he comes in with a little bit of a bit of an angle there. No, not too much to be seen.
Gotta say though, the mechanics are absolutely getting their work put in for the right hand side of that car. They better be getting paid well from Takashi's team. He's really making his mechanics day a little bit harder than it probably needed to be. Here's the replay as we see mid spin there. We'll go back again to find out what caused that spin. We see here in the slipstream to the inside, and that was really hard to tell what happened from that angle.
It looked like a collision with the Cardam Bev, but they're kind of running over each other there. It's kind of weird. Thankfully, there wasn't too many cars involved. So you see Cardam Bev goes wide to the outside. I think he just clipped the wall. I got a feeling he clipped the wall, bounced off, and caught Takeshi Kita. I think that would be my conclusion of it. But obviously, Kita coming off pretty badly. Cardam Bev as well. He's dropped a few laps back now. So actually, as I have a look, there's only a couple of cars still in the lead lap. It looks like the top 10 are still in the lead lap. Everybody else, 11th down, is down a little bit. There you go. Nakada Bev having an unintended incident there. Not quite what he had in mind. Oh, there you go. There's a nose came off. Look.
His toes are going to be, you can see his toes.
He's wearing flip-flops.
Oh, man, that was, yeah. Unfortunately, we saw Assad. He just went to that corner a little bit hot on the exit, got on the throttle slightly early, and the back end shook. He corrected it mostly, clips the wall just the slightest touch. It would have saved him, but unfortunately he had a car there to his inside, and, well, the rest is history.
Yeah, Kita getting caught in the little bit of turbulence there from the Cardam Bev.
Dang. How did I not see that one earlier?
Actually, how's the chat going? Have we got anybody in chat trying to roast with us here? Come on,
Chat's
guys.
been a little bit quiet. Come on, chat. Where you guys at? I know
challenge me. You, by all means, challenge me. Challenge Mike. At the minute, the score's 22-9. Mike needs the help.
As haven't been quite riding in the jet stream as of yet.
Oh, that was shameful. Well played, sir.
But as we have another caution out, I guess I can go back to our fun facts here of Homestead, Florida. Now, Daniel, do you know how Homestead, Florida got its name?
Well, when I think of Homestead, I think of a farm with goats, cows, chickens. That's
Absolutely.
what I'm thinking. And then all of a sudden I got the KFC, and now I'm kind of craving one. So where are you heading with this?
Well, you hit the nail right on the head, pretty much, kind of.
KFC,
not quite. Back in 1904, after the arrival of the railroad from Miami, the city took its name from the Homestead Country. It's government land that was open to homesteading back in the late 1890s, and it took a developed shipping center here, selling fruits and vegetables around to the from the surrounding farmland. So not quite farm animals, but more farm things like beets and wheat and stuff, Midwestern things. But as it stands, pace car lights are out, and we're going to be going green next lap. That's your fun facts here with Mike Noss.
And coming in next episode, he's going to have the flyer coupon going. Currently, I believe that melons is a special here at Walmart. Also, if you wanted to get a DVD player, they are coming up shortly as well. BIS DVDs not yet released, but anybody interested, please put them in the chat, and we will laugh because nobody really uses DVDs anymore.
It's a shame. Not really. Pace car lights, though, out. Going to be pulling in here around this corner. We are going to be seeing the lead being taken once again here by Byron Shute. He gets the restart. Last one was perfect. This one, pretty much textbook again. Going to be under a little bit more pressure, though, from behind, as Michael Broomhead is going to be onto that inside immediately, actually. Takes cover. I would have thought he would have run out there trying to get that momentum. It's going to be a good line for Ryan Taylor behind, as I don't think that's Ryan Taylor. My timing sheets have severely messed up. There we go. It's Andrew Hardman.
Yeah, as I look at it now, you got Broomhead, Hardman, and Wager. Those three there are all Britannia iSports. Clovis Gerard, he's running in a different team. I think CC Motorsports, if I remember rightly. But you got Buchanan there in fourth. He is somebody you definitely keep an eye on, keep watching. But realistically, he's heavily outnumbered. He's got three Britannia iSport cars all around him. You know, if these guys are playing as a team. Now, as I look at it right now, Hardman is in the Discord, so is Broomhead. Wager is not. And Broomhead's got his mic muted, but I do wonder if they're going to work as a team. Clovis Gerard is in there as well. You know, Buchanan, he's an all right guy, but you know he's had a lot of success. And I don't know about you, but I personally, you know, I want to try and take down the guy who's on the top of the food chain. You know, if we can beat him, we're having a good day.
Absolutely. The thing is, though, obviously, that's going to set the pace for this championship. Everybody wants to win here tonight because they want to come in swinging strong here. This is round one of our BiS IndyCar Championship. Plenty of rounds to go here. And as we move on through the championship, I guess why don't we take a look here at our field as it stands. Obviously, this is going to be subject to change coming through, but currently leading us here is going to be Byron Shute up at the front, or Bryson Shute. Apologies again, Bryson. Don't know how I keep messing that one up. Michael Broomhead in P2 with Andrew Hardman in third, Zachary Buchanan in fourth, who was leading this race at the start, and Jonathan Wagner rounding out fifth.
You got Ryan Taylor there in sixth, Clovis Gerard in seventh, Nick Horvath in the 382 car in eighth, with Spencer Todd in ninth, and Richard Swindell's having an absolutely fantastic day, attaboy, in 10th.
Yeah, Mark McDonald in 11th, Cedric Oyan in 12th, Ohayan in 12th, Nicholas Colander in 13th, Joey Haynes in 14th, and Diego Zuccarelli in Zuccarelli in P15.
Then you got Robert Kobe, the chief of Howler Racing. He is there in 16th. Stuart Ross, he's definitely a guy who loves being in the interview room. Well, Stuart, you need to pull your finger out if you want to join us today. 17th place right now. Marlon Jones in 18th. John Benvalid in 19th, with Assad Nakadanbeb in 20th.
And rounding out the back five positions here, back six is going to be Assad, who's battling actually with John, who just took that position from him. So John in P19 now, with Tori Pushman behind in 21st, Takashi Kata in 22nd. Not a great day for Takashi, unfortunately. 23rd belonging to James Doherty. 24th belonging to Eugene Cartini. Christian Grisco in P25. And last but not least is Ozzie Milwane out in P26.
I'd say quite a large field here tonight. I mean, it's great to see this many people have come out to you know, take part. And as I look through the field as well, where is the closest battle going on right now? I'd say it's probably between Hardman and Broomhead, but I don't know if these guys are really going to battle at this point. You know, 28 laps to go. You got to think about the points. You know, you got to think, okay, you know, where do I want to be? And something we haven't mentioned yet tonight is actually the hard charger. Now, this gives us a good excuse to go onto our driver cams. It's actually Clovis Gerard, the number 27 car. He is up an absolutely fantastic 15 spots, having a fantastic race. Phenomenal. As you can see there, he's, I think his camera's moved maybe a little bit, but you can kind of see a little bit of the view he's got, just a little bit, and he's definitely concentrating. You know, the boy is invested, but the next closest one would be, let's have a quick look here. It's going to be the guy ahead of him, Ryan Taylor, in the 317 car. He's got 13. So generally, if Clovis can keep hold of this till the end, he's going to be getting, we'll have a look at the points again a bit later, but he will be getting some bonus nuggets, we're going to phrase it for right now.
Yeah, one additional point being thrown that way. One additional point for fastest lap as well, which my timing charts won't show me for whatever reason. So
I'm on it. I'll find it for you. Hang on.
This ATVO. You gotta love the program, but I'll be honest, I am not great with using it.
Okay, so right now,
has the ability.
I believe it is our race leader with the fastest lap. Nope. I hit the best thing, hoping it will sort it for me, and that doesn't happen, so manually. Michael Broomhead's got a 25.605, which I believe that is the fastest lap I've got on the board. Yeah, it is Michael Broomhead right now with the fastest lap. Well done, sir.
Going to be bringing home some crucial points. Obviously wants to bring home a few more in the race win here tonight. It's going to be about roughly 10 points difference from P1 to 3. Obviously, if you are curious on that, do head back in the broadcast. Watch the whole thing over again here at Podium Esports. You can find out as at the beginning we did go over that point schedule. Ryan Taylor here, though, currently running in 6th. He's got a bit of clean air ahead and behind him. Currently a bit comfortable, maybe too comfortable, as obviously when you come out of a full course yellow, you want to make up as many positions as possible. And as I say that, we have a full course yellow again, folks. So here's his chance. Tori Pushman is going to be the culprit, it looks like, for that. We'll pull up a replay soon enough to see exactly what happened. Looks like not too many drivers getting caught up in this incident, at least at first glance. But 22 to go here.
Now, Tori Pushman, one of the new drivers here at BIS. We've not really got to know him too much. I do sometimes like to hang out with the drivers after in Discord, and I gotta be honest, I'm gonna be roasting some of these guys to hang out in the Discord a little bit more. As commentators, I do want to get to know some of you guys, and as I look at the podium right now, obviously I've met Hardman, Broomhead, but Shoot, Bryson Shoot, I've not got to know him too much. But let's have a quick look at the replay here. Let's see what is going on. Mike, what's happening here?
As we're finding out here, we're too wide. I'm not sure, is this the incident? I don't think this is the incident. We're slow. We're very slow. Did we blow an engine? I mean, that's my only thought, is he might have been running hot and blew an engine. At this point, it's very possible that could have happened. Unlikely, as they, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure. As we have little technical difficulties in the background trying to find out exactly what happened, but the engine's still functioning for them, so here we go. Maybe. Stand tight. While we wait for that, guess what? We got more fun facts. There's another full course yellow. Earlier on, obviously, Daniel, I said how many bird species are. Do you remember that?
Yeah, about 500.
Excellent. Now, do you want to know how many trees there are to complement those birds?
I'm going to say there's probably... Are we getting different types or just generally trees?
Different types. Yeah, different types.
Oh!
Oh, my goodness!
Look behind you. There you go. There's the nugget we've been looking for. It. But I'm going to say different types. If there's 500 birds, there's got to be even more trees. I'm going to say there's got to be at least, I don't know, 1,500 different types of trees, if not more.
Actually, in terms of plant species, there's about 4,700, but trees, I think you're looking at around about 320.
Interesting. I guess they don't eat a big variety. But anyway, let's have a quick look at this incident. You've seen a Cardenbev up on the right. That's Marlon Jones. That doesn't look great. He's almost on top of the Cardenbev. But I think if we could go back again, I think what happened there, I don't think it was intentional by any means, but they got got a little bit up on the apron, and it was just enough to throw the car off. Now, speaking of aprons, here's a fun story that my teammates will very, very much enjoy. During the Daytona 24 hours, we decided to run the LMP2 car because realistically, the LMP hybrid is a bit too much car, and the GT3 we just didn't want to get killed that easily. So anyway, we're running the LMP2. I'm driving. I generally start a lot of the endurance races. I find I'm better in traffic. And anyway, so I get stuck behind this GT3. There's a hybrid coming on the outside. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go. So that long banking corner at Daytona, I decided, you know what, I'll just send it down the apron. This was a bad idea. What happened is the car basically gets spat out the apron, does a full 360, and narrowly misses the wall. And I believe one of my teammates is actually very quietly, discreetly, probably for my birthday or Christmas, he's probably going to be getting me an apron which says, do not drive on the apron, with a picture of said LMP2 car in a big cloud of smoke, and me with a slightly brown bulge in my shorts.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. This is Tori Pushman here, currently sitting in 19th, started 20th, up a position here in the lead pod racing from where they started. A few more positions to be gained here on the restart. It is a single file restart, interestingly. It is going to be a bit of a safety net, I think, as typically you'd be seeing the drivers obviously hit the choose cone around the checkered flag 1 lap prior to the green flag, or 2 laps potentially, and they'd be picking which lane they would want up at front, and then everyone would have to obviously choose in succession which lane they would need, and so on and so forth. NASCAR is going to be your reference if you want to know what I'm talking about. Here we don't do that, though. We got single file, and that will obviously help where we are going to be seeing a lot less yellow flags. We saw quite a few at the start, but the drivers, they've tamed themselves back since. And now we have the likes of Andrew Hardman, who's actually leading us here, who would not have found himself, or well, maybe not expected himself at this point in this manner leading this race, as he started in P3, I think, and now up at the front. Pace car here is going to be getting ready to come on in, and the green flag will be held up in the air. Ryan Taylor, what does he have from P4? We go green, 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 and that's not a great start from Andrew Hardman. He's going to be immediately pressured by Michael Broomhead up in front, and Michael Broomhead is on a mission. Let's see what he can manage here. Down that inside, he's going to be riding close.
Well, the good thing is you got 3 Britannia iSports cars up at the top 3. Now, these guys need to work together. Already pulling away 0.6 of a second from Ryan Taylor, but the question is how much time do you need to try and break that draft? I think a second would just about do it. Once you pass over a second, I'd say they're probably out and gone now. The question is, how much do you want to help your teammate? Obviously, everybody's all good friends, but when it gets to the closing stages of the race, you want to break away. But with 17 laps to go, I'm going to be holding you close like you're my best friend at this point. I'm not going to want you to leave my side.
Judging by the car body language of these guys, I'm not sure they agree with you. I wonder if there are going to be any team orders in play here. It's round 1, so these drivers, they need to remember this is round 1. This is a huge score of points for the team if they can bring it home in this order. So maybe discretion will be the better part of valor here, but once again, telling a racing driver to yield, that sometimes is not a possible thing to do. As we see Michael Broomhead trying to find advantage to the inside. Forces Andrew Hardman high. He's been liking that high line, though, and will be getting a solid exit out here. It's going to be a challenge for Michael Broomhead. He's comfortable, though, on the inside.
Well, as I look as well, you got Ryan Taylor in that 317 car. His team name is FTS IndyCar, so I've got a feeling this is maybe something that he is more frequently involved in. So, he could be one of the guys to watch. Currently, in 5th place. And actually, as I have a quick look, that Hard Charger Award, Clovis Gerard, he is currently... he'd be level pegging for that, but the problem he's got is he's currently sat back in 10th. Now, Hard Charger, that would actually be Nick Horvath right now. He also has 13 positions, but he's in 4th, so from my understanding, that would make him get the point.
That would make sense. It's going to be a battle all out. Obviously, down to the checkered flag, anything can happen, barring these top 3 into the wall. Now, obviously, knock on wood, but it's definitely a possibility. And who is that? Coming out of the background, that's Nick Horvath from downtown. He is managing to reel these drivers in here like a walleye on the ice of Lake Winnebago. Jeez Louise.
He is definitely, he's got them in the crosshairs. You can see the missile lock engaging, and I'm definitely going to count that as an aeronautical one as well. Sorry there, Mike, but not able to quite make the move. Now, the question is as well, in oval, if you start battling, is it going to slow you down with the guys ahead? Now, I'm starting to think it is, because obviously you can't get that optimum line. Don't get me wrong, you can still get around pretty quickly, but if all of a sudden you have to compromise with a friend and that, you are going to fall back to the car ahead. And that's what I'm seeing right now. Hardman is currently pulling away a little bit, I'd say, from Broomhead, but as they go in at the corners, he's catching maybe up a little smidge, but at 5/10 of a second, that draft is still there, but the gap is increasing. Is now up to 0.6 of a second. As you can see there, Nick Horvath and Jonathan Wager both having a little bit of a poke, a little bit of a sniff.
Yeah, Horvath super comfortable up top there, as he is going to gain that momentum, and look at the overspeed. That's the confidence of using the high line to your advantage. He is going to have to tuck to the inside here, get on the brakes a little bit harder than the other car, obviously. He's carrying much more speed into the braking zone. Side by side, three wide now through the final corner. Nick Horvath looks like he gets the worse end of the stick for now, but it seems that this is all of the squabbling has caused the drivers behind who are in a battle of themselves, Spencer Todd and Bryson Shute. Cannot pronounce your name, Bryson. I'm so sorry. It's not that difficult. But Bryson here, who was leading at one point, or at least had a chance to, now looking for a potential podium at the very end here, and he's all the way in P6.
I do wonder if there's going to be any like last minute, try and send it over the apron to get to the checkered. I do wonder as well. I've got a feeling there's going to be every trick in the book will be explored. But Spencer Todd, these guys have now closed in. We've now got a 6-way fight for third and below, actually second and below, 6-way fight. And then Zachary Buchanan, he's only 3 tenths back off Spencer Todd. I'm going to say he's going to be in the scrap as well. I can't remember. I think it was the Kaiser Chiefs, but the song goes, I predict a riot.
Jonathan Wager here in a scrap of his life. Again, apologies, Jonathan. I'm realizing that I've been putting an N in your name. My bad. Side by side, we're 2x2 Noah's Ark here with 8 to go, 7 to go now. And it could not be tighter at this moment. Look at this. Michael Broomhead is going to go deep there briefly onto that high line. He's been favoring the high line. That's Nick Horvath, my apologies, as he is going to be riding that overspeed to his advantage. While all of this is happening, though, Horman has managed to pull away by a second. Is this the grace that he needed to take the victory? I think it may be. Obviously, he needs to not make a mistake at this point, but as these guys are not going to be giving each other up.
Definitely not. And Nick Horvath currently sitting the hard charger as well. He's flickering between 14th and 15th position, depending on where Bryson Shute is. Currently in third, he is 14 positions clear, which would give him the hard charger. I say that, he goes back up to second. It'll be very brief. Bryson Shute there in second now. These guys are basically playing the drum, and one of them's on the on-beat, one of them's on the off-beat. It depends on which portion of the track they are. But again, that battle definitely gave Hardman the gap he was looking for. But these guys have got to remember as well, as a team, Britannia iSports, they're sitting pretty right now. You got first, fourth, and fifth right now. You got to remember, it is not worth compromising it just to try and get a smidge more points. Not this early in the game. You want to try and go for a cumulative rather than a one-event victory.
Absolutely, and look at this side by side throughout the entirety of the lap here for Bryson Shute as well as Michael Broomhead. Or excuse me, that's Horvath. My apologies, Horvath. Doing what he can here to keep up, but it is going to be a no-yield game at this point for either driver. You can see the squeeze there to the high line from Bryson, but it's not going to be enough to unsettle Nick. While all this is going on again, Hardman, he is gone. 4 to go at this stage here in the battle. It could not be tighter.
It's definitely been tight. Bryson Shute for Evolve Sim Sports. Now, as I have a look, they have got a couple of cars in the field. Ozzy Milwayne, he's one of them. Spencer Todd is another. So we do actually have another team battle in here. Spencer Todd in 6th place, Bryson Shute in 3rd. So potentially some good points there for Evolve Sim Sport. Ozzy Milwayne, he's been out for most of the race, but 3-car team, it's good to see them represented. And then we have a look at Nick Horvath now. Who is he running with? He is with Lead Core Racing. So he's got Tory Pushman is joining him. And as I have a look, who else? Very quickly, I think it's just the 2 of them. No, there's Marlon Jones as well. So a couple of teams, with points in the bag potentially as we get near the end. But Britannia iSports currently, going to be looking at the most points scored potentially as a team.
Here we go, folks. Last lap. Any caution that would fall at this point would be null and void. We are going to be green, green, green to the end here. Nick Horvath, can he hold on? Byron Shute to the inside. It's going to be Bryson Shute to the outside now. Holding on ahead of them there. That's going to be a back marker that's going to put a real wrench into the equation, actually. That's going to slow up Horvath potentially and allow the likes of Spencer to get by, but no, we have it is going to be the following order. Andrew Hardman takes the win, Nick Horvath in 2nd, and Bryson Shute takes home 3rd.
Not quite there yet. Almost. I don't think they're there yet. They're still certainly sending it.
I think we've already followed. We've cross-checked it already. We're on our celebration lap.
When you have a lap that's like 25 seconds, it is kind of hard.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah, it's definitely confusing. But we'll get the unofficial results very shortly for you. But I've got to be honest. I thought there was going to be a dirtier ending to that. I'm impressed. It looks like they kind of had all the fisticuffs at the start of the event.
Yeah, and most of the drivers managing to realize that this is a race, not a pace car extravaganza. Here's some donuts for Andrew Hardman, celebrating the first race win of the season, and what a way to set alight the championship. Now, why don't you enlighten us here? Who our other points winners are going to be?
Okay, so we've got Andrew Hordman. I'm reading two names at once. Epic fail. Well, we got Andrew Harmon. He's currently, he's got P1. You got Nick Horvath in second, Bryson Shute in third, and we're going to be interviewing some of these guys very shortly. I'm going to start and go ding some of these guys, trying to make sure they get their rear ends in the transfer room, so we can start having a chat with them as well. But we'll have that results graphic up very shortly. But I see Lima Racing as well. We didn't mention them guys too much. Absolutely phenomenal competitors in the other BIS series we've had. As well, I do mention them frequently. They do often put up practice sessions as well. So thank you again for doing that as well. We don't ask them to do it. They just very generously do so. But it looks like we're going to have a very active team championship. We've got Britannia iSports, Evolve Sim Sports as well, getting some points in there. But take us through the results there, Mike.
Absolutely. Leading us away here is going to be Andrew Hardman, the number 3 driver, taking it away for the first race win. I mean, it's huge, absolutely huge for the team as well. Massive team points as they have a few behind, but Nick Horvath taking home second for the 382. We have Bryson Shute in third, as well as Zachary Buchanan in fourth for the number 40. Jonathan Wagner going to be the next teammate there of Hardman. He is going to be coming home in fifth, with Spencer Todd Company in sixth, Michael Broomhead in seventh, Richard Swindles in P8, which is a name I feel like we didn't mention too much, finding a great little finish at the end. P8, a solid chunk of points to bring home for the team, with the likes of Ryan Taylor behind him, and rounding out your top 10 is going to be Mark McDonald.
Absolutely fantastic results as we look at Clovis Girard there in 11th, with Cedric O'Hine for Lima Racing in 12th, Nicholas Calander there in 13th, with Joey Haynes in 14th, followed by Diego Zuccarelli in 15th, Stuart Ross in 16th, with Robert Kobe in 17th, John Bembalid in 18th, Tori Pushman in 19th, and let me see, Marlon Jones in 20th.
Coming home in 21st, it is going to be Eugene Cartini. In the number 24 machinery, we have Assad and apologies, Nikanabev. We'll get there eventually, I'm sure. In the P22, unfortunately, a couple incidents there, putting him down into the 22nd position. Takashi Kita, same story for them. James Doherty in P24 with Christian Gritzko in P25. Aussie Milwain in P26, and last but not least is going to be Harold Gollenborn, the 127 in P27.
Yeah, he did not start, I'm afraid, but I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure he's involved in a real race series as well. Yeah, I know Mike Broomhead will know, but we're going to be trying to round up some of these guys. I see. Actually, we've got 3 out of 4. That's not bad. I'm impressed. So the question is, who do we want first? Do we want to go third up to first, or should we go first down to third?
Let's go third up first.
Third up first. Would you like to do the honors, sir?
Do 3, 2, 1. I'll do 3, 1. As we have,
you said that.
That makes sense. Quickly. Oh, that's fine. Just you can do second. We'll switch back. We'll switch back and forth.
Okay, right. Who do you want first?
P3. Bring us home here in with Bryson. Let's talk with Bryson Shooty. Bryson, welcome to the booth. Congratulations here on your podium. Do you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Dude, excellent race here tonight. Dialed in as ever. You started in 4th, up 1 position. It was a consistent climb, if you want to call it a climb at all. A bit of a jog, more or less. I mean, you had to put the work in. I feel like I'm definitely selling short the amount of effort that went in with obviously the amount of pace cars that we had tonight.
No, absolutely. It was certainly a tough race. I was hoping for the win, but it really all this comes down to is strategy, timing, getting everything right, and on those last few laps, unfortunately, I didn't have enough down the inside to take it. Didn't have the overspeed, and I ended up third. But overall, great race. It's my first time back in a while, so very, very happy about it.
Now, obviously, we know from some of these drivers, there's a lot of circuit drivers, some oval drivers. In terms of specialties, I know we have coming up Long Beach. Are you looking forward maybe more to Long Beach than this track? I'm just curious what your stance is on the oval versus circuit racing.
Absolutely. No, I'm a road racer through and through. Ovals are not all that familiar to me, although I've had some good results in the past. But yeah, no, road racing is is my favorite, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, that's a terrifying prospect to see then. If you were going to be dominant here in ovals, well, I can't wait to see what you can do, not next week, but up and coming for Long Beach. And again, Bryson, apologies on the mispronunciations on your name that you don't even know that I did. Apologies in advance.
No worries. It's a regular thing. Almost everybody gets it wrong.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Bryson Shoot. P3 finisher here tonight. Have a good one.
Well, that was Bryson, and that was absolutely fantastic. A new fresh face in the booth. But I have been catching up there with Mr. Nick Horvath. Now, he was actually our hard charger of the day, up 15 positions. So, Nick, do you want to publicly admit that you sandbagged the qualifying a little bit for the hard charger points?
No, I am just absolutely awful at qualifying. I was just surprised. I was like, oh, 14th, that's great. And then it dropped me down to 17th. Like, oh, okay, yeah, it's about where I expect.
So, Nick, I've seen you here in BIS for multiple series. Now, how was I don't know what you've really done for overall experience. I know certainly in real life, if I understand correctly, you are quite a whiz in a go-kart, if I've got this right.
Honestly, this and the last Indy 500 were the only real oval races I've really ran. So not a whole lot of oval experience. It just hooked. Something felt right tonight, and I don't know why no one else is using the High Line, and the High Line was just so fast.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The High Line is the way to go. Nick Horvath absolutely demonstrating how it is to be done. But we got Long Beach coming up. Obviously, I've seen you race. A lot of the guys who've been watching, they've seen you race. And Long Beach, how do you feel about that track? Obviously, it's a city circuit. There's not exactly room for forgiveness.
It's tight. It's really, really, the walls are really close and they seem a lot closer than they are. I think Long Beach really, personally to me, has always been a survival race. So really, it's just about trying to keep clean, just run consistent laps, give people space. I think lap traffic's going to play a big part as well, but I think it's going to be a fantastic time.
I gotta admit, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And obviously, as well, we have our own Indy 500. It sounds like you've almost been a bit pre-calibrated for that, but certainly something to look forward to. Are we going to be seeing you in that special event?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't miss that for the world. Indy, I love Indy. I miss the opportunity to be able to run the official 500s from the last couple of years. So I'm gonna really enjoy this one.
Well, Nick, before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Absolutely. Definitely a big thanks to everyone back at Lead Paw Racing. I know it was a tough first round for everyone else, but we got some good points this time around. Sponsors K&N, Spectre, AM, Toblerone, Noble Chairs. Just one good race. Good race.
Hold on. You are legit sponsored by Toblerone.
We are, yes.
That is,
Wow.
I'm so jealous. I mean, the K&N, I'm like, damn, that's pretty cool. I could do a drop-in filter for one of my cars. Nice. I know who's got the hookup. Then Toblerone, I'm sorry, but legit sponsored by chocolate. Okay, all right. New challenge for next race. We're going to see who has the most desirable sponsor, and I don't mean like on a financial base in terms of who's got the good gear. But that's absolutely fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nick Horvath, your hard charger and P2 finisher for today's race.
And last but not least, of course, in fact, is first. The winner of tonight is going to be Andrew Hardman. Andrew, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. I honestly had no idea what to expect going into this race. I'm very much a road course guy, and the few oval races I've done have been long in the past. So this was a new experience for me, but it worked out well. I think strategy played in my favor tonight. Mike Broomhead did an awesome job of playing wingman in that last stint there and keeping everybody behind me so I could scamper away and keep the gap on people with newer tires. So very happy about that. This was a really cool race to take part in.
I got to say, starting off with qualifying, you absolutely knocked the entire house down with quali. Starting in P2, up at the front, I know it wasn't as cut and dry as a lot of people may think. Obviously, starting at the front, you get a really good advantage But that's not quite the whole story. We saw a lot of pace cars. We saw a lot of back markers. Talk us through how that battle was through the field. Obviously, you had some struggles in this race, and why don't you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, struggles. I mean, they didn't really come to fruition. I was able to sort of hang with the top two guys, and I was definitely not as fast as Bryson. Like he seemed to have the fastest car out there. Um, but seemed like I was basically saved by cautions before I got too far down. Jonathan Wager was also pretty quick, and he never was able to get by me, and just was uh, was always lucky with the cautions. And then I was right on the edge of fuel, and I decided to not pit when the two guys in front of me started to or went into the pits, and so was able to just keep track position and keep the win.
Incredible. That's absolutely awesome. Andrew, taking the first win of the season, obviously going to boost your confidence moving forward to Long Beach. How are you looking forward to that track?
I love Long Beach. I think it's going to be a good time. I think this car will be a little fast for it, and there's going to be a lot of cars. But that's all in the fun of it, right? We all gotta deal with the traffic. We all gotta deal with the stuffy nature of the track. But I love this car. I mean, it's probably my favorite car on the sim, and Long Beach has been historically a very good track for me. So I'm not saying I'm gonna make it two for two, but I'm certainly gonna give it a try.
That's the confidence you love to hear moving forward. Now, before we move on, is there anybody that you would like to thank, Andrew?
Yeah, of course. Mike Broomhead, like he's my teammate. He's my one of my better friends, and he's put on an amazing league here. He's got a awesome group of people running it and participating in it, and of course you guys putting on a great show. So yeah, all thanks goes to Mike for putting putting this together.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Andrew, and congratulations on your win, and good luck moving forward into Long Beach. But Andrew Hardman, your race winner here tonight, and going to be leading the championship moving forward. Now, on that, we are going to be closing out. We have a schedule coming up, obviously. We've been talking about Long Beach over and over again. Now, well, when is that? It is going to be coming up next month. It will be May 1st at 8:30, and we are going to be interviewing Mike Broomhead, as I have just been whispered to. My apologies. So, Mike Broomhead, Daniel, why don't you take us away?
Mr. Broomhead, obviously a great race for Britannia iSports and lots of points, but we didn't bring you in to talk about your racing prowess. We more to talk to you as the BIS head admin, league organizer, and the guy who really does make the magic happen. Tell us a little bit about what's coming, and give us a little bit of a fill in there.
Yeah, we got well, I mean, I did a great race, I thought. Anyway, no, we we we've got a lot of great races this season. We're almost following the schedule, so to a degree, obviously, that the real life one is. So we've got a few races that are close to the real life ones, but we also have some outliers in there as well. So next up, we're at Long Beach, and the real world, they're at Long Beach. We're throwing a bit of BIS format in there, though. We'll have two races with a reverse grid on the second one. So it's a typical crazy fashion for us, and it's a lot of fun. But after that, we go to Mosport. IndyCars don't really go there, but that's our home, and we love racing this car there. And it's going to be like a minute lap, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But then I'll just finish off by saying that, excuse me, we'll be doing the Indy 500 full length, and sign-ups are open always. We're going to do single races, single race entries, or as many as you want from now on. So scan that. Oh, I don't know if they. I probably didn't put the QR code in here, but look for us. Watch the next race. We'll put the QR code in there. Look for us at Britannia Sports, and we'll.
There's
get
the
you
QR.
sorted. I don't
QR
think I
on
did the
screen to
QRs.
scan.
Oh, did I? Okay, great, excellent. Yeah, so scan the QR code. Come join us. Have some fun. It won't be yellow packed next time.
Yeah, it was definitely a interesting start to the race. Don't get me wrong, I predicted some carnage, but you guys over delivered on that one. But I look forward to hearing your feedback about the broadcast. I'm sure you're going to absolutely, strap into your seat, put the train in the upright position, and have an absolutely flyer of a time. And I do believe that actually brings the score to 24-10. We'll leave it at that. But ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Mike Broomhead. He's now going to have a very quizzical look. I'm going to hoof him out the broadcast booth before he can reply to that one. But what a fantastic race, Mike. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's my first time commentating Oval, but the action, it delivered. There was a lot to talk about. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed the fun facts as well. you know, a lot of fun. It's great having you in the booth.
Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure's all mine, Daniel. Thank you so much. As yeah, this track oval racing in general, always something to look at. That's the brilliance of it, right? There's always something going on, even if it's not even for position. Anything can happen in racing, and it normally does. And this obviously takes that to the next level. As we have it, we are going to be closing up though. Next race will be at Long Beach. That's going to be Wednesday, May 1st at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be here in chat. Signups are available, as we said, for the Indy 500. Check that out in the Discord here at the BiS IndyCar Championship. I think links in the description. As it stands, though, I've been Mike Noss. Thank you to the team today, for Daniel, Christian, and for all of you at home. Hope everyone has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you, and good night.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.